Hey everybody, welcome back to Comic Crow. And I've talked a little bit about the Loudoun County situation, but not really on this channel. As of today, we do have news, of course, that the Loudoun County dad arrested for trespassing at local public school board meeting found not guilty. So let's discuss if anyone's forgotten about the Loudoun County situation. In Loudon County, there was a push to introduce critical race theory into the schools. All right. There was also other things that the school had done, which included covering up the sexual assault of students by a male student that dressed as a girl and would go into the women's restroom where he sexually assaulted a student. And this is the second time said student had done that at this school district. So obviously, tensions were really heated and very high. A Loudoun County father who's arrested at a June 2021 school board meeting was used by the Biden administration to justify a politicized attack on the concerned parents was found not guilty of trespassing on Wednesday. Yeah. That's the other thing. After this Loudoun County situation, the FBI started to look into parents as potential domestic threats. I'm not kidding. They used this situation to explain how schools were being targeted by these radical parents. And yeah, it's actually really gross because the school district is 100% at fault for every single thing that has occurred. Law enforcement arrested John Tiggs at a Loudon school board meeting on June 22nd, 2021, after he tried expressing concerns about the school district's moral decay. A Virginia district judge found Tiggs guilty in October of 2021. Loudon Circuit Judge Douglas Fleming Jr., however, cleared Tiggs of any wrongdoing. Yeah, oh, right. Afterwards, they arrested him and a judge found him guilty. Now, look, I think this article goes more into the details here. This one doesn't tell you anything other than the case has been dismissed, and then you have to go to read more. And I personally don't want to do that on a Fox article. I get it's the Fox local news. I'm just lazy. But this is gives you a rough idea of why the arrest happened. Around 250 people signed up to speak, but the board ended public comment abruptly after just 50 speakers and exited the room for a temporary recess. During the recess, Mr. Tiggs encouraged those who were denied their opportunity to speak to come to the front of the seating area to continue providing their comments for everyone to hear. Soon after, and without any prior warnings, then Superintendent Scott Ziegler announced that this gathering was an unlawful assembly, and anyone who did not leave the room immediately would be subject to arrest. When Mr. Tiggs insisted they had a right to be in the room and explained he would not leave, he was arrested and charged with criminal trespassing. Mr. Tiggs was the second person arrested in the room while the board had recessed. The other was Scott Smith, whose daughter was sexually assaulted in the school bathroom by a male. And yeah, that's what happened. Okay, someone had been sexually assaulted, and the school, I think the reason why they left was because when the father of the student who had been sexually assaulted started speaking, it was because the school district denied that there had been any sexual assault on the campus, which caused the father to start, shouting and screaming because his daughter had been raped in their own fucking bathroom, right? This led the school board members to stop anyone from talking, leave the room, and while they had left the room, They then told everyone, hey, get the fuck out of here. We're calling the cops on you. We're done. This was then used as justification for parents being these radical extremists that needed to be shut down by the government. I've said this to someone who I was talking to when he was asking, how do you know if discourse broken down between the right and the left? And, I was like, look, I gave him a whole long explanation, but you look at the end of the day, one group targeted parents and children, and the other believes that they're standing up for parents and children. And this would be a prime example of that. Look, you might say, hey, well, I understand why the school board got a little bit scared. Like, that wasn't it. The speakers were very emotional, and they were hurling insults at the school board. And so the school board got offended and left. After denying, after flat out fucking lying to everyone there that a student had been assaulted on their campus. When asked about the assault at the June meeting, Ziegler, who was interim superintendent at the time the girl was attacked, stated, "To my knowledge, we don't have any records of assaults occurring in our restrooms, and the predator, transgender student, or person simply does not exist." Yeah, well, look, guys, if your daughter was sexually assaulted, if somebody that you know was sexually assaulted, right, police were involved. Okay, and then the place where she was sexually assaulted at claims it never happened, it never occurred. That's a lie. Man, I'm surprised the father was as kind to these individuals as he was. But this was patently false. Ziegler moved the gender fluid student to another school where he assaulted another girl. Well, actually, let me be clear, okay? This student had already assaulted one girl, was put over into this new school where he rapes another girl. Then the superintendent moves that same student who has now committed 2 acts of sexual assault to a third school where he attacks another student. The superintendent then lies and says this never happened. A special grand jury later investigated the school district and indicted Ziegler on charges related to his handling of the sexual assault. He was also let go by the district, which continues to pay his $332. Fuck that. Okay, that's fucked. For the next year, that's completely fucked. But I'm glad he was indicted, and I'm glad he'll never set foot into another school board. Hertzler explained the ruling from the circuit court exonerating Tiggs. Today, Judge Fleming held that the Commonwealth had not shown that anyone other than the school board had authority to remove people from the public meeting room. He also found that Mr. Tiggs had successfully pled an affirmative defense of acting in good faith and believing he was in the room lawfully. Because of this, the judge did not address the First Amendment constitutional claims of free speech, protest, and assembly. Well, that's a good way around it, I guess. Tiggs said of the ruling, "Today's ruling is a win not just for me, but for all the parents and citizens of Loudon County who have been systemically silenced or shut out of the process by the school division over the last few years. I didn't serve my country for decades overseas." Oh, God, he's a veteran. He's a fucking veteran, guys. They arrested a veteran at a school board meeting. God damn. Overseas, only to come home and have my rights trampled on here. I hope this victory only encourages more parents to speak out and get involved to take back their children's education and reclaim their basic rights. Tiggs, who owns a bed and breakfast and wedding venue in Hamilton. Wow, this guy sounds like such a criminal. God damn. In Hamilton, Virginia, is no stranger to social and political activism. As the Epoch Times reported, his activism began in 2020 when his business was closed under lockdown orders. Well, guys, I guess if we didn't have those mandates and lockdown orders, this guy would have never gotten politically involved. But what do you guys think, okay, of this situation? Because to me, I find it actually very disgusting. I'm glad that the father won. I really am. But the fact that he was charged and found guilty in the first place is disgusting, especially when we know that the superintendent who called the cops on all these people was indicted for his mishandling of these sexual assault cases. I think it's completely screwed up. I really do. I'm glad the father's been found not guilty. I hope he continues his activism, because what happens in these schools needs to stop. It's gone way too far. If you guys disagree, let me know in the comment section. We can talk about it.